Welcome back, viewers. It's Jerry with Sky Management here again. Thank you so much for all the love you guys have given us on that top 3 video. I did have several people that have contacted us and commented on how they thought, well, surely we need to have a lot more tools than what we really gave out. Well, yeah, you can never put a list on the amount of tools that you would probably need to have because there's so many specialty tools out there. But my brother and I put our heads together and decided what would anybody need to have that would cover 99% of all the maintenance calls that they would get in a property management and maintenance business. Now, I understand a lot of you are not going to agree with some of these. That's fine. If you've got other tools that you'd like us to look at, please comment them below and we'll be glad to look into them. Chances are we probably already got them. But again, these are just to cover 99% of all the major problems you're going to have when you're doing property management and maintenance. So stick with us and we'll show you the list. My brother and I have compiled this top 14 list after thinking about this because we have a combined experience of almost 60 years in the business. We can't come up with tools that will fix all problems because there's always specialty problems that you're going to come across that are going to require specialty tools, specialty bits and different things like that. But this list of 14 should cover about 99% of the problems that you have on a day-to-day basis for you and your maintenance guys and your management team, and they're things we would definitely recommend you keep around. The number one thing on the list, again, no particular order here, is the drain unclogger snake. They are called different things, but they're basically hairball pullers. They have these little teeth. You stick them down in the sink, pull them out, pull out any clogs that are close up above. And they work great. You can throw them away when you're done, or if you got a pair of gloves, just go ahead and pick off some of the old excess yummies that you get on there and you can stick it in there and you can reuse it again next time. And sticking with plumbing, the next item on our list here is one of my personal favorites, is the plunger. Now, plungers, of course, have been around since the late 1800s when somebody invented that. Probably after we invented toilets, the next thing they decided was they needed a plunger. But these things work fantastic for not only unclogging toilets, but unclogging sinks as well as showers, and would never have a maintenance crew that did not have a plunger because that's going to take care of a lot of your clog problems. Now, for the problems that it doesn't fix, if you have a slow clog, not in toilets, but in sinks, kitchen sinks, and in bathroom sinks, this product right here called Thrift, and if you're not familiar with Thrift, we'll put a link right up here above so that you can have a look at that. Is one of the best drain openers that we've ever found. We've used a lot of different kinds, and this one so far we have found has not damaged our pipes. And as long as you follow the instructions, it does work. Don't breathe in the gas though, because it is a nasty gas. Next item we would require that someone would have would be a crescent wrench, typically one that's a larger size that can adjust out to about 1 inch. Most of the time you'll be using it on smaller projects like taking the nuts off behind a shut-off valve behind a sink or the nuts off around the bottom of a toilet, but these can be used all the way up to 1 inch and as small as you need them to go to get in those tight spaces and unscrew those. Definitely would have that in a tool belt. In the same family as these handheld tools is this pair of adjustable pliers. Pair of needle nose pliers. We got adjustable pliers on the list. It's a little secret, sorry. Needle nose pliers, but has to have a wire cutter. Now these can be used in lieu of the wire stripper that a lot of people have because you can actually get a hold of some wires and strip them out. We don't normally have wire strippers with us. If we're working on a big electrical project, yeah, we'll have a pair, but it didn't make the top 14 because this will do most of the jobs that it does. But the needle nose part of this will get into small spaces, and it's good to have a nice small set of pliers in case you get something stuck. The next one is a set of Allen wrenches, both metric and standard. Kind of this is one because it's kind of a set. But the primary one of these you're going to use is this guy right here, which is, I believe, is a 1/4 inch size of this Allen wrench, because it happens to be the one that fits directly up underneath the garbage disposal, which is probably over half of the garbage disposal calls you get is my garbage disposal is clogged or my garbage disposal doesn't work. And it's normally because they've dropped something down in there that won't work. So you have to loosen it up with one of those. But we added it in with the rest of the set. You never know when you're going to have another problem that requires an Allen wrench, but that one there is key. The adjustable pliers, or channel lock pliers, as I mentioned, is one of the top ones that we like to have, typically a medium size like this. because it can adjust out all the way like that to get bigger pipes, or you can also use it to get smaller little nuts and things like that off of there. But it also can hold on to something of varying sizes, typically without doing much damage or taking like the top off of a sink, for example. So these work really well. They do some of the jobs that the pliers and the crescent wrench can't. If you're doing those plumbing jobs, you're going to want to have a caulk gun with some caulk. Now you can use silicone or caulk or whatever project you're working on, but once you're done pulling out that shower valve and putting it back in and putting the plates back on and what and so forth, or putting a toilet down and resealing around it, you're going to have some caulk or some silicone to be able to work your way around that. It goes around bathtubs, sinks, you name it, you're going to want to have it, because that's going to help take care of finishing out a lot of those projects. Another item that's a great item to have, that we always like to have, is this right here. We're kind of getting into a couple of electrical tools here. Is a voltmeter. This one is a brand, I can't even pronounce it, E-Tech City. I don't know that it necessarily has to be a great brand, but you want to buy yourself one that's going to last a little while, so shop around. This one here allows you to clamp on. You can hang on to it. It just needs to have the direct current, mainly the alternating current, if you're testing plugs and so forth, and electrical outlets, sockets, and different things to see if you've got electric. Make sure that it's off so you don't shock yourself. But also to have the resistance meter on there for testing hot water heater elements to see if those are bad. That'll save you a lot of trouble in the long run to make sure that what you're troubleshooting on in a hot water heater. So this is another great tool in that top 14 list to have. We're getting down to it here, so just stick with us. We only got a few left. One is the 6-in-1 multi-tool. This is a screwdriver, as well as a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver. The new screwdriver is going to be on this list, but this is all in one, and the reason why we choose this, again, if you've watched our other video, you're aware, they've got these two separate ends that are hex head ends that can be used for a myriad of different reasons, mainly appliances, hot water heaters, heat and air conditioning units, you name it. They've got two different sizes on there, and both of those work really well in exactly fitting the typical hex head screws that are in those particular appliances. So that really is key to have. Of course, we're going to get away from our top 14 list without having the trusty hammer. I know that WD-40 and duct tape didn't make our list, but hammer did. If you can't get it off by any of these other tools, obviously a hammer will probably come in handy, especially if you're driving in nails and baseboards and so forth. Yeah, you might be able to use the back end of one of these, but a hammer can also come in handy for breaking loose garbage disposals and so forth as well. So it's a really good tool to have. The last three items I've got here on our list of 14 is a bucket. One of those has to be, if you're going to get a bucket, it needs to be small enough that it can fit underneath the sink and the projects that you're working on. My brother mentioned, well, they just use a 5-gallon bucket. Yeah, some projects, if you're doing it, you need a lot of holding things. Yeah, a 5-gallon bucket will work, but really needs to be a smaller bucket so you can fit it underneath those sinks, but it needs to be big enough that you can collect enough water to drain it in there from a sink so you're not making a huge mess on the floor. And the two power items I've got, one, this rounds out number 13 of our 14, is a Sawzall. You can have a couple different blades for that, so cutting metal pipe into cutting wood or trim or anything else you need to do, but this will cut PVC pipe, it'll cut any kind of pipe, it'll cut anything you're needing it to cut, and it works out great. Again, tools that we use like this are usually fairly cheap, like Ryobi here. It's a great brand of tools. Again, put a link up above for show you some of the Ryobi tools that we use, but this one here is important. And last but not least, here on round out our list of 14 is a drill. With drill bits and of course screw heads and so forth. And if you don't have screw heads, of course they come off of the 6-in-1 multi-tool, and you can put it in there and use those if you didn't have those. But a couple drill bits to go in there would be great too. Those are the top 14 that we've come up with that honestly, between all these tools, should solve about 99% of all the problems that you've come up with on a day-to-day basis. Yes, I'm sure you guys will have other ones that you're thinking of that you're just like, well, why didn't he have this product? Yeah, if you can come up with that and somehow change our mind, by all means put it in the comments below. But thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, let us know. Please like and subscribe.